Dental Fuel, the podcast that focuses on what no one else is talking about: mistakes. The dental world is full of before and afters, and no one is talking about the middle. Dental Fuel brings you the unspoken in between. Dental Fuel is brought to you by Ignite DDS Coaching, empowering dentists to build self-determined futures. Together, we're shaping the next generation of leaders in dentistry. Dental technology. If anyone knows it best, it's our lab technicians. Elvis Dahl has been instrumental in bridging the gap between dental labs and clinical practice. We talk about the challenges of adopting new technology, and he highlights some common pitfalls from labs and clinicians. Let's tune in. Elvis, here at Dental Fuel, we also like to talk about finances and financial mistakes that we get into. Any financial mistakes that you have made that relate to the realm of dentistry?
Wow. Well, I don't own a lab, but I know a lot of lab owners. And I'm sure this relates a lot with clinical, but it's jumping into technology before you're ready.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, every lab has a piece of equipment they bought 10 years ago that was over $100,000 that's sitting there because we all get overhyped with great technology. Some of it's smoothed out recently. Mills and printers are all kind of at a level where they're all decent and they're all doing good work. But back in the day, when new mills came out, they were expensive and they were heavy and they were terrible, but we didn't know any better. So we needed labs to buy these things to troubleshoot them and tell the rest of us they were bad. But we've all been through it. And buying equipment does not replace technicians. A lot of people would think, hey, I'll buy this back in the day, get rid of all my waxers when I buy this mill, but now you just need different technicians with different skill sets. So not only the money wasted on the technology, but it's also the money wasted on the personnel to run it. And we've all been there. And I'm sure every clinician's been there. I go to a lot and I see some old scanner sitting in the corner. That's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Some archaic looking laser device that was pretty good 10 years ago it's got dust on it. I mean, we all do it.
I've shared with others that, in this profession, we're attracted to the shiny.
Oh yeah.
The shiny brand new thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I gotta have it. And you're right. Sometimes sometimes you make use of it and it's great and it's worth your investment, every single penny. But sometimes it ends up sitting in that corner, like you said, and that's wild. It's just that huge investment that you made.
And let's look how technology is moving. Let's use scanners, for example. They're all coming out with new ones now. The Trios, the Medit, the Itero, they all have new ones coming out, and they're telling you it's the best thing. But what about the last one you sold me? Is it no good anymore? It was the greatest thing last time you sold it to me, So keeping up on that's a ton of money going around.
Was there a piece of equipment that you really enjoyed using when you were truly hands-on?
I'm a handpiece guy. Can't go wrong with a good quality handpiece. I was really big early on with surgical guides and implant bars because that was kind of like my passion back in the day. And early on, Nobel had a scanner and a design program that was like really the only one you could use. Nobel Procera, which I think they're still around, but yeah, I used the crap out of that thing. I made a lot of bars in my day.
So tell me a little bit more about your role now. Can you tell us a little more about like what it entails? Just being kind of away from, I guess, a physical lab.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for me, and it took a while to get used to it because I was always home based in a lab. I had the lab to go to every day. Heck, I hardly ever left the lab. But now, with the lab being about 2 hours south of me, my main goal is to grow business in Indiana. I am not a salesperson. And if my lab's listening right now, I'm sorry. But I'm not a salesperson. What I am is I have a ton of knowledge from the lab side that I can bring clinically. So even today alone, I was in 3 different cities helping 3 different types of patients on various things. A lot of it's removable work because that's where clinicians lack a lot of knowledge and a lot of help. I'm not really chairside to seat single crowns. I mean, zirconia crowns are kind of commoditized. What's the word?
Ooh,
You're
I don't
smart.
know. That may be a new one for me.
Edit this. Zirconia crowns, everybody can make them. They're all good, right?
Fair. Very well said.
Fair.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but it's removable that I get a lot of help with, and a lot of
Yeah.
implant removable work. I pick up a lot of locators, all on 4 conversions, all those kind of same day surgery procedures. Anytime I can help. Sometimes it's just to go in and take a shade. And I'm not a ceramist, but I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
What else do I do? I just, whatever I can to help. And a lot of it is, hey, I've done this try-in twice. It's just not going right. When is the patient coming in next? Let me come in and see. Another benefit is, let's say you are having crown issues. So you've gotten the last 4 or 5 crowns, they're all high occlusion. Or the last 4 or 5, you've had open margins. You don't know why. Usually you'd call your lab and be like, hey, I got open margins. Someone on the other side says, okay. And then you hope they magically fix whatever's the problem.
Right.
But what I can do and what I love to do is I'll go in and watch your process of prepping, watch your process of taking an impression or even scanning, and then I'll follow that through the lab and then see if we can dial in the problems that we're having, because all labs have problems. And I mean, I've run into everything. I've seen people where they haven't turned off their scanner in like 6 months. No wonder this thing not working well. Or they're using expired impression material.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it really goes bad, but are you willing to risk it?
Right.
Let's just look at the processes. And sometimes they just want somebody to come in and just kind of check things out because they get stuck in their ways. And I pick up so much information in all the other offices I'm in. I'm happy to share it. It's not like something I've learned. I've just picked it up.
That's great. Backtracking to removable, which
Yeah.
is always a hot topic for dentists. What are common things that you have seen, and what advice would you give to dentists to be better at removable?
Yeah. So I'm really in on this digital dentures. I know that's a topic that a lot of people are like, it's not there yet. They don't look as good. But I think the process clinically is proven to be amazing. So if you have a scanner that's halfway decent, look into digital dentistry. Look into digital dentures, because that's going to make the process so much easier. But the two biggest things I see removably is the records being taken are just off right off the get-go. Usually a wash impression is taken in something, either it be a custom tray or their old denture, and too much wash impression is being used. You're changing the VDO by like 2 to 3 millimeters just because you're filling that thing up with impression material. You're just capturing the anatomy. You don't need so much. And I see this all the time. That's a big issue that I see. Bite registrations, not doing a full arch bite registration. I see them just like a little bit in the front, and that's good. No, it's not enough. We need substance, in order to articulate. But when you're into digital, it's looking at your scans, enlarging your scans before you hit the send button.
Mm. For the digital workflow, are you still recommending taking an impression and scanning off of that impression?
Ooh, you're getting into a fun topic here.
Yeah.
If they're totally edentulous and they have no denture, yes. I see no reason why we shouldn't use analog going into digital. If they have a denture, and I'd say about 80% of the patients that are edentulous have something. I don't care if they haven't worn this thing in 10 years. I don't care if it's broken in half, it's moldy, it's chipped tooth, whatever. That, with a wash impression inside of it, can get us like 3 steps quicker to the final product. And the record taking on that is just amazing.
Taking that wash in that existing denture, medium, light, PVS?
I'm a big fan of medium.
Okay.
But using a very little. Put that
Interesting.
denture in, look at the flanges up in the vestibule areas. If you need to extend those, get some heavy body on those borders.
Okay.
If you don't
Border
need
mold
them,
it.
yep, with heavy body and material, you don't have to go too crazy. If the thing fits relatively good, I'm good with a light wash. If it's got a little bit more movement, I'd step it up to a medium, kind of depending on how much you need to recapture. But don't fill the tray. I see this all the time. I mean, they fill the whole denture up and then they shove it in there and then they hold it in place. That thing, what used to be here, is now down here, and the whole thing is off. You're just recapturing the anatomy.
I feel like that would be a good video to see. How much PVS you recommend?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's different for every patient, honestly, by the fit of that denture.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah,
pretty decent. You don't need much. You really don't. But if it's loose, you know, what do they say? Socks on a rooster, or whatever that saying is. Yeah, feel free to use more, but don't fill it up. I love it. I love it when they shove it in there. Then they take the whole 3 minutes. They're scooping it out. I'm like,
right, because it's so much. Like it's just an overflow the entire time.
What are you doing? That just seems ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that's where you waste the material.
It is not my place to interrupt the doctor.
That's fair. That's fair. But you're providing an excellent suggestion and guidance here.
Yeah.
We hope you're enjoying our conversation with Elvis Dahl. We're back next week where we talk about a team mistake. Ready to take the next step in your journey? Book an intro call with Ignite DDS Coaching today and level up your future in dentistry.